ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ ନମସ୍କାର. On behalf of Kalahandi University, welcome you all to the 32nd edition of the motivational talk series called Uttishtata. And this session is dedicated to late Chief of Defense Staff Bipin Rawat. The nation suffered from an irreparable loss on 8 December 2021 due to the sad demise of Chief of Defense Staff Bipin Rawat, his wife, and his entire crew members, the defense personnel who were traveling along with him. So on this occasion, at the outset, may I request all the members present in the virtual platform today with us to join with us to express solidarity and homage to Bipin Rawat and his entire crew with having a prayer, a silent prayer for 1 minute. So it starts now. Thank you very much. Jai Hind. As I said, this session is dedicated to late Chief of Defense Staff Bipin Rawat. So it's a distinct privilege to moderate this session. And at the outset, I welcome the head of the organization, the head of Kalahandi University, and president of this talk series, Professor Sanjay Kumar Satpathy, Vice Chancellor of Kalahandi University, to this August gathering. And it's a privilege to welcome a renowned captain, a renowned group captain on behalf of Kalahandi University, Atanu Guru sir, who have been awarded with Veer Chakra and Youth Seva medal by the Government of India on this occasion. And he is going to deliver a talk on different leadership of a different kind today. And it is also an honor to welcome Isita Guru Madam, Business Development Manager, Sunrise Industries for Unix Badminton Product. And she holds a BA Honours degree in English from Miranda House, an MBA from London School of Economics, and she is going to deliver the welcome address and introduce the speaker on the occasion also. And I also welcome our esteemed registrar sir, Pitambara Vai sir, and PG Council chairman and convener of this talk series, Captain Dr. Jaydev Sahu sir, to this August forum. I welcome all my colleagues, eminent listeners and personalities who have been joining us in this program, and most importantly, the future of my nation, the future leaders of my nation, my dear students of Kalahandi University. I welcome you all to this August gathering, and we are going to listen a wonderful talk today. At the outset, may I now request Miss Lipsa Maharana to sing the welcome song.
Thank you so much, sir. ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ ମୋର ପ୍ରଣାମ। ଧାରି ଦିଅ ସାରା ଧରଣୀ ଆଜି ତୁମରି ଆଶୀଷର ଧାରା ଅନ୍ଧାର କଣ୍ଟକ
Thank you, Lipsa Mohana Madam, for such a wonderful rendition of a beautiful ODI song. So may I now request our registered sir to deliver his opening address. Sri Pitambara Bhai sir.
He is in a meeting perhaps.
Bhai sir, can you hear
He is
me?
in a meeting perhaps.
Perhaps he is busy. May I, I'll invite him later on once he joins the program, maybe towards the end of the program. So we'll move forward in
Isita,
the
Isita,
agenda.
Isita.
Yes, sir.
Colony Sita.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Now may I request Miss Isita Guru to introduce the speaker on the occasion and deliver her welcome address. Over to Isita madam.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. I am Ishita Guru, the marketing head for Yonex in India. I have 10 years of experience in brand strategy and marketing communications. I am here today to introduce the key speaker and my father, Group Captain Atanu Guru. He joined the National Defence Academy in 1978 and was commissioned into the Indian Air Force in June 1982. He has taken part in all operations of the Indian Armed Forces till he retired from the Air Force in 2015. After retiring from the Air Force, he has served in the Cabinet Secretariat till recently, October 2021. He was the first ODI to be awarded the prestigious Veer Chakra by the President of India for conspicuous gallantry in 1987 and the Youth Seva Medal for exemplary leadership in Bor in 2008. He was also commended by the United Nations in 2007 as the commander of the Indian forces in Congo, Africa. He has been a flying instructor at Air Force Academy and Helicopter Training School and has been a senior faculty and head of training at Defence Services Staff College at Wellington. A postgraduate from Madras University, he is an MPhil in Defence and Strategic Studies. An MBA from XIMB, he has also attended the Fellow Program in Management in XLRI Jamshedpur. Group Captain Atanu Guru has held various important appointments, including commanding an important combat squadron, commander of the Indian Air Force contingent in United Nations Peacekeeping Force, and president of the Air Force Selection Board. After retirement, he continues to offer his specialist comments as a defense, aviation, and strategic analyst in various news channels on television. Today, he will give us a glimpse of leadership in the armed forces from his own real life experiences. He will also give a brief report on the tragic crash of the helicopter in the Nilgiris with India's first Chief of Defence Staff. What is the role and importance of the CDS in India? Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, madam, for such a wonderful and succinct introduction of the speaker on the occasion. A jewel of India, a jewel of Odisha, of our own land. And it also a pride moment for a daughter to introduce her father, on such an August gathering. And Kalahandi
Absolutely, my
University,
pleasure, sir. Thank you so
yes,
much.
Kalahandi University also expresses gratitude for both father and the daughter for being present on this occasion. Thank you very much, madam. So
Thank you, sir.
without depriving the listener from the speaker anymore, may I invite now Group Captain Atanu Guru to deliver his talk, Leadership of a Different Kind, to our young minds of an infant university. Over to you, Group Captain Atanu Guru.
Thank you, Sanjay Babu. Namaskar. At the outset, namaskar to everyone in Kalahandi and the people who are listening from far and wide. I would like to express my gratitude to the Vice Chancellor, Professor Sanjay Kumar Satpathy, the esteemed faculty, to give me an opportunity to speak to all of you. I have spent my childhood years in Sambalpur and Rourkela, So I was told I could add my Sambalpuri language in between to improve the connectivity between me and the participants. Basically, I assume the target is the youth of Kalahandi University. So, Ajimu leadership in the armed forces bisare kotha hebi. Upon my that I will come to later. In the meanwhile, while I progress in my talk, I will request you all to think, why could leadership in the armed forces be different from the others? What makes a leader in the armed forces different from any other leader? Every leader is important. So when I come back after giving you a brief about the accident, then we will discuss why is leadership in the armed forces different. So now we have leaders in various fields. Apan Mankar, University Rojan, Vice Chancellor Akshan, he is a dynamic leader in his own way. The student representative of the class, the university president, the secretary, they are all leaders, and each leadership position is important. The bureaucracy, the police, the fire, forest, bank, railways, corporate, sabu khetrare leadership role is very, very important and significant, because the leadership decides the course of action that the organization will take in the future. They guide the people with example and ensure that the organizational goals and interests are met. So first, Samastankar Monariguti Thiba, ki why did the Mi-17 V5 helicopter with the first Chief of Defence Staff of India crash in the Nilgiris, unfortunately, on 8th of December this year? Now, why I am a very, very right person to speak about this is because the commanding officer of the unit, the 109 helicopter unit, also called the Knights, I held the same position in the year 1999-2000. And as a commanding officer of the unit, I have flown the Chief of the Army Staff, the Chief of the Air Staff, the Chief of the Naval Staff, and many more senior dignitaries from the same airbase, that is Sulur, to the same helipad, that is Wellington. Wellington helipad is slightly tricky. It is at an altitude of 6,000 feet. Secondly, after I commanded that unit at Sulur, I climbed up the hill, which is just about 80 kilometers, and was posted at Wellington as a directing staff in the faculty. There also, I have guided the helicopters coming from Sulur to land at Wellington. And thirdly, the Mi-17 V5 helicopter, I have just flown this helicopter 6 months back. It was the last helicopter that I have flown in my entire service career. In fact, my Air Force retired Kola Pore. When I joined the Cabinet Secretariat, I converted onto this helicopter and I have flown this helicopter. So, with this background, social media, news channel, sabuade bahut rumors chaliche. Lot of speculation is rife as to what caused the aircraft or the helicopter to crash. Before I proceed further, I will request you all to have patience. We do not have the facts of why the helicopter crashed. For any helicopter to crash in the hills or anywhere else, charta pramukh karan hai pare. First is a technical malfunction, a material failure, or some problem with the helicopter. Now, Mi-17 1V helicopter is the latest helicopter that the Indian Air Force has, and we fly all the VIPs of the country in this helicopter. When I was in 109 helicopter unit in the year 1999-2000, I Mi-8 fly karu. Mi-8 helicopter is an older version, much less powerful, And this helicopter has the latest avionics on board, latest navigation equipment. It has got the weather radar. It has got moving map display. It has got every possible good instrument that is there on the Boeing or the Airbus aircraft in which we all fly. So technical defect may be there. Ita nuhe ki if an aircraft is new, there may not be a technical defect. Second point is, what is the second cause? Could be pilot error. Now the commanding officer is the senior most and the most experienced and the most qualified pilot in the unit. He was flying the aircraft. Third is bad weather. We leave it that for the while. And fourth is enemy action, including a possible sabotage. Now we do not know what the reason is. So the Court of Inquiry team has got the terms of reference from the Government of India. And for the first time, would an air officer commanding in chief rank officer has been detailed in a tri-service Court of Inquiry as to why the helicopter has crashed. Now, so we should not jump to the conclusions, but wait for the Court of Inquiry. But of all the videos that I have seen, there is one video where you have seen that a helicopter is entering the clouds, and just after 5 or 10 or 15 seconds, there is a sound of the rotors hitting something, and then it stops. Jodi, if we are to believe that this video is a true one and it is linked to this helicopter, then we cannot rule out the possibility of the weather playing a role in this aircraft accident. Apan mane Air India, Indigo, Vistara, SpiceJet, jebe badal bhitre posi jaison, kichi danger nahi tha. Why? Because when I'm entering the clouds in the high skies, more side ray or upure, there is no obstruction, no traffic. But if I'm flying a helicopter in the hills, in certain cases, I'm forced to fly below the hill row, the peaks. So in effect, I am below the hills, or the hills are to my sides. And if I enter a cloud, then mujhe samnare kana che dekhi nahi pare. If that situation arises, then I may hit something inadvertently, and that may cause the helicopter to crash. Having said that, it is still too premature, and let us wait for the report of the Court of Inquiry. Now let us come to the serious. General Bipin Rawat. Now, who was General Bipin Rawat? He was like any other army officer, very bright, very brilliant. He got the Sword of Honor in the Indian Military Academy when he was a cadet. He became the Chief of the Army Staff. Tapare, he was appointed as the first Chief of Defence Staff a little less than 2 years back, with a tenure of 3 years. That means we got our independence in the year 1947, and almost 72, 73 years for India got its first Chief of Defence Staff. Let's go to the most powerful nation of the world, the United States of America. USA independence paitla 1776, 4th of July. And they got their first Chief of Defence Staff, whom they call the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, in the year 1949. Samane, the USA got their first CDS equivalent officer after 173 years of independence. And we got him after 73 years because Kargil Ladhai in 1999, there was a committee which recommended to have a Chief of Defence Staff. What was the objective to have a Chief of Defence Staff? He will not be the operational head of the Army or the Navy or the Air Force. But Tankar main role heba, he is a single point advice to the Prime Minister through the Defence Minister of our country. Coordination between the Army, the Navy and the Air Force will be his prime job. He will try to synergize and orchestrate the combined resources of all the three services and put them to as a national power should the country go to war tomorrow. That does not mean he takes over the responsibility of the chief of the air staff or the chief of the army staff or the chief of the naval staff. Each of the service chief निजर role थी service specific. They have the domain specific knowledge and they are the best leaders for their own particular service. Now, आपण माने सुनिथिबे कि we were one of the biggest importers of arms and ammunition for a very, very long time. That means our balance of payments issue thila. A major portion of our imports are oil and also defense equipment. This government is trying to minimize imports and dependence on foreign powers for our military hardware. ଗୋଟେ उदाहरण देने जेबे पाकिस्तान रू some aircraft wants to attack India. आमे काना करमु, we will try to save our assets. How? By enhancing our air defense capability. तामने we will protect our vital points and vital areas in our country from the aerial attack of Pakistan or any other adversary. So what was happening is each service, the army has its own air defense. Naval ship, they have their own air defense. In fact, when an aircraft carrier goes, they have a flotilla of ships around them for defense of that aircraft carrier. And the Air Force is the primary service in charge of air defense of the country. So we were procuring equipment, guns, missiles, service-wise. Army Kindla, Navy Kindla, Air Force Kindla. So at times there were equipment purchased which were not from different countries and not gelling with each other. We are not a rich country when we compare to the US or Russia or China. So we have to optimize our resource. E-procurement was a major job given to the Chief of Defense Staff. Jodi hame procure eka sange karma, then we will avoid duplication. Once we avoid duplication, we will get a better capability at a lower cost. One. Second, our exports kamijiba. Third, our Atmanirbharta will increase. Fifth, when we start producing equipment in our own country, we will become an exporter of these things. Like Russia deals and to produce 6 lakhs rifles. So tomorrow, if we are mastering the production of these rifles, we can export them to the developing countries, and this will make a difference to our economy as well. So that was the main purpose of the Chief of Defense Staff. Now coming back to leadership. In no other organization you will follow a leader fully knowing that this path may lead you to a point from where you may have not come back alive. Let's say apan vice chancellor apan leader aan. What kind of leadership he is providing? Excellent leadership, but he does not tell you to walk a path which might lead to your losing your life. In the armed forces, a leader, knowing fully well that there is risk involved ahead of us, he might urge your inner pride and national feeling to go into a path wherein you will lose your life. This is why a leader in the armed forces is different. His followers have to have implicit faith in him. While I know that I have joined a profession where there is an occupational hazard, wherein I may have to make the supreme sacrifice should the requirement come up, but I should have the faith in the leader that he will do the best that is possible to save me should there be danger. To inspire your men to be prepared to make the supreme sacrifice is a major task. Soldiers have full faith in the leaders and the leaders lead by demonstrative example. Not many officers all over the world. Upon the military history portray, if you see what is happening across the world, many countries are into conflict, but the officers leading them into battle, the Indians are a class apart. So this kind of leadership, India is very popular. I have spent times in Congo, and we were on the same side with Pakistan. So the present Pakistani Army Chief General Bajwa was the brigade commander of the brigade, and I was the Air Force contingent commander. We have seen them. They don't even know the names of their Jawans, whereas the Indian officers are different. We try to get involved with our men, know their requirements, the problems, and move ahead. So, after giving you a brief introduction about General Bipin Rawat, the Chief of Defence Staff, we mourn the loss of the first Chief of Defence Staff. But बहुत गुड़े news channel रे अपन सुनी थे कि there's a void which is created. अपन मैंने सुनी थी वो कथा, the king is dead, long live the king. In any government or a defense organization, the human being is very important, but more important is the institution and the organization. So very soon, the government of India is going to declare a person who will be the next Chief of Defence Staff, and who knows, he may do a better job. So while we mourn the loss of the 14 brave hearts who lost their lives, we are also hopeful and look to the future with pride that we'll get someone who will do the job in a better way. Now, I joined the National Defence Academy in the year 1978. I will give you 4 or 5 tips on leadership based on my personal real life experiences. So as a young 16.5-year-old lad, I was the leader of a quiz team in National Defence Academy. We did very well. Of the 12 teams, I'm a Tinta team, we reached the finals. Having performed very well, people from all over the country are selected and join the National Defence Academy. So all are bright, supposedly. So we lost the gold medal in the final question, in the last question. I was sad, disappointed that we lost the gold medal, that we were not the winner. But we are also happy that we got the silver medal and we are the second in the entire academy. So while I was complimenting my 3 other teammates, our squadron commander walked in. For a cadet, the squadron commander is like God. So we were looking forward expectantly as to what he's going to say. He told me, Guru, very well done. But there is no place for runners-up in a war. I'll repeat, there is no place for runners-up in a war. In every athletic championship in your university, in every Olympic tournament, in every other tournament, you have a podium which has the place first, second, and third. When you fight a war, this first, second, and third do not matter. You are either the winner or the loser. You are either the victor or the vanquished. The winner takes it all. If that is the kind of stakes that are there for you, there is no place for complacency. The first lesson I learned in my life as a 16.5-year-old boy in National Defence Academy was, if you have to achieve something, you have to be a winner. You can't be a runner-up. So I learned the definition of a winner as a soldier. Now, why I'm telling this to you? Everyone, in every field, is a soldier in his or her own way. When you're playing a basketball match, you're a soldier to win that match. When you are leading a team in a company, you are a soldier, or at least think like a soldier. If you think that you're a soldier and you know the consequences, if you're a winner, you write history. If you're a loser, you may end up in a prisoners of war camp. So when you know the consequences of not being winner or being a winner, then you will put in that extra bit to be a winner. So my first message to all you young people and to others also is that whatever job you're doing in life, whatever task you have got wherever, you must decide and put in every bit to win. Thinking ki jodi moi nai jite, then I am a loser. That what happens is subsequently. We'll see what happens. But when I prepare for war, whether it's the war of the country or when I prepare for my job, I must give my best. Second, linked to what I said just now, I'll go to Air Force Academy. When I was a cadet in the Air Force Academy, we had one instructor. His name was Jai Singh Dhani. We fondly called him Jigs. You all wear helmets when you drive a motorcycle or a scooter. We also have a flying helmet when we fly. So behind his helmet, there was a sticker. It said, "Move away, sun. We need more sky." What does it say? So next time you want to achieve something, don't think sky is the limit. All our life we have been listening, sky is the limit. I will urge you to go one step beyond it. If you want to reach the stars, look beyond the sky. Sky is the limit is an old saying. As the new generation challenges, if you want to take India to the next level, and you are the future leaders of India, Jadi apan mane India ke from a developing country to a developed nation, to a superpower, to a leader of the world, nemake chahebe, then you have to believe in what that helmet said. Move away, sun, we need more sky. Sky is not the limit. We have gone beyond the skies. That should be our objective and aim in life. Next, I will come to Kargil War. 1990 re, most of the young students na janma nahi the, or they would be very, very young kids. In 1998, would Janet Jackson likhithile one song, which was a commercial song, which was a Pepsi commercial ad, which meant ask for more. In 1990 Gulf War, for the first time, Yuddha, our drawing room, our bedroom ki chali asla. They were almost telecast live. And we started seeing wars from our bedrooms and our drawing rooms. The same thing happened to us Indians in the year 1999, when in Kargil War, the media covered the war in such a way that sitting in a drawing room and bedrooms, we could almost virtually see the war happening. You must have heard, firstly, Kargil War was one of the most difficult and challenging wars in the entire military history. When our soldiers captured or recaptured Point 5140 or the Tiger Hill or other points, the slope, the inclination was almost 70 degrees. It is almost impossible, but they made it possible. Apan mane kuda na sunithive Captain Vikram Batra. So, on 19 June 1999, Vikram Batra and his Delta Company of the 13th Regiment of the Jammu and Kashmir Rifles, in an audacious and cold, bold assault, recaptured Point 5140 from the Pakistanis. Soon after that, a TV anchor asked him, "How do you feel What was his reply? It became a tagline for most young people. Ye dil mange more. He said, Jang to kitta si, lekin we did not see enough Pakistani bunkers to bust. We did not kill enough enemies that we wanted to. So my dil needs more. Ye dil mange more. And Vikram Batra and his team and the other CEOs or the other soldiers made it very impossible thing happen. From these points, 5140, Tiger Hill, the Srinagar-Leh highway was visible. It was under direct fire. So, jodi ame e post ke nai jiti thitu, then our entire chain of supply was exposed to Pakistani fire. Unfortunately, Captain Vikram Batra, in a subsequent operation in a counterattack, died of bullet injuries. But he had told his friends that either I will go and unfurl the Indian flag of victory, or I'll come back wrapped in the Indian tricolor, which he did. That is the kind of dedication. He went beyond the ordinary, surging beyond the ordinary, and he got the Paramveer Chakra, and all of us, all Indians, should be proud and grateful to this great soldier for giving away his today for our tomorrows. A few things which I've already spoken for about 25 minutes. A few things is that we all have different roles in our life. You could become a collector, you could become a chief secretary, you could become a banker, you could become a professor, a teacher, a school teacher, you could become anything in life. You could become like, when I was in XLRI Jamshedpur, the people who, jinma Safa Karsan Rasta, the Safai Walas as you call them, they had so much of pride. That is a place where I've seen every Safai Wala carries 2 brooms. Dui Hatra 7 Safa Karsan. So, when in whichever field you are, I'll just speak a word on rules, discretion, and integrity. Why were rules made? Rules were made to bring about a semblance of order. Every rule has a spirit behind it. Se spirit ta bujhbar bahut jaruri hai. No rule was ever made to make life difficult. But unfortunately, when we go to various offices, the red tapeism is such that our people, who are also leaders in the old field, at times take the shelter of the rule not to do your job. If you were blindly to follow the rules, then computer would be the vice chancellor. Why would you have a vice chancellor? A human mind is there to decide whether or not this thing is good for the society or the cause for what I'm employed. So, I'll give you an example. I was flying in a mission supporting an army regiment. One of my engines almost failed. Our Mi-35 helicopter jude engine thi. So, each engine has a power of about 95%. So if the split between the 2 engines is about 2%, 3% is acceptable, more than that, you have to abandon the mission and come back. In one such mission, the split was 25-30%. Gute engine thala 94 rahe, gute thala 64 rahe. That means I should have come back and landed. In the meantime, the army major on the ground told me, sir, don't go back now. We are under fire. Just being there in the top may save our day. Rules said I should go back. Did I go back? No. For 20 minutes, I flew that area for saving the life of that major and 20 other soldiers who were there by breaking rules, violating regulations. But why? The reason is I broke the rule for a cause. You have to draw the line. There has to be a single yardstick of measurement, and our integrity should be unquestionable. The answer will be very simple then. Common sense jodi apan use korbe, which is not very common. The French philosopher Voltaire had said, common sense is not so common. If you use common sense mingled with integrity and honesty of purpose, we'll never have a problem in taking decisions. So no matter what job you join tomorrow, whenever you take a decision or you are in a dilemma, what should be my next course of action? Remember this: rules, discretion, integrity, and you'll get the answer. You'll never go wrong in life. Let me conclude a little more. With that, I will leave. One is where you break the rules, you twist the rules to the benefit. At the other times, you have to stick to the rules. There was a crash in a helipad called Dorjila in the year 1999 at a height of 18,200 feet. My senior told me, "Wahan jaake leave technicians so that they can."
Jitendra, sorry sir, sorry to interrupt. Jitendra, can you mute your mic? Sorry for the interruption. You can continue, sir.
Okay. So now anyone who has got the medical knowledge, Bagdogra hoche 400 feet above mean sea level and Dorjila is at 18,200 feet. When we go from a lower altitude to a higher altitude, we have various stages of acclimatization. When you don't acclimatize, you may suffer from hypoxia of a very high order and you may die. So as a young squadron leader, I stood up to my boss. I said, "No, sir, it is not desirable. We will not do it." I lost because I defied the orders of my boss. Loss was mine. But who gained? I gained. Jodi, I had allowed that to leave 5 technicians at 18,200 feet from 400 feet. Even if one guy died because of high altitude sickness, I won't have forgotten myself for the rest of the life. It was not war. It was a peacetime exercise. So at one end, I'm saying break rules if required. On the other side, I'm saying you have to follow rules. So this, to differentiate between when to break rules, when to follow them rigidly, is called wisdom. This wisdom comes with experience. So my request to all of you is, please try and learn and imbibe this wisdom in due course so that you all become good leaders in the country. Leadership can't be talked in 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. So I could have told you a lot of other things, but one principle you follow, which if you all, some of the studious people have read a book of Jim Collins, which talks of level 5 leadership, in which he says, and this is my final word to you, is no matter what you achieve in life, no matter how high you reach, never forget to be humble. That is what my father taught me. My father was a professor in Sambalpur University of Chemistry. He taught me, and I still imbibed it and follow it every day, no matter where you reach, be very, very humble. Because be humble but firm. Humble mane no hai ki moi kichh nahi kohe. Be humble but stand for your cause. And whenever there is achievement, whenever your organization does wonderfully well, look at the window. And when something goes wrong, look at the mirror. This way, you will never have a shortage of followers in life. Window mane, mui kichi bhol kamoro credit, I'll give it to my team. Or jodi kichi problem hela, I take the ownership, being the leader. That is what is true leadership all about. So I have crossed the time given to me, and I wish each and every one of you a very, very successful life. If you, and remember these leadership tips, they are not exhaustive, but I wish each and every one of you the very best Jai Hind and Namaskar. I'm open to questions if you have any.
Thank you very much, sir. We'll definitely receive questions in the meantime when the presidential address will be delivered by Vice Chancellor of our university. But truly, sir, you in your talk justified a dynamic world requires dynamic leadership. And in an infant university like Kalahandi University requires guidance from people like you to build the future leaders of this nation. Thank you very much for your valuable time. In your talk, you can clinically analyzed the crash that took away some valuable lives from this nation and the possible reasons behind it. And at the same time, you also justified the significance of the chief of defense position for the first time that was institutionalized in our country after 73 years of independence, which America couldn't do this in such a shorter period of time. And you also justified leaders lead by demonstrative examples. You also demonstrated leadership qualities from your experience by citing examples and different styles of leadership and the functions that a leader has to perform. And as you rightly said, sir, there is no place for a runner-up in a war. In a war situation, there is no second position. And you rightly said, "Ye dil mange more." When you are in a war, definitely this should be the catchphrase. And rules, discretion, and integrity are the integral principles of a leader. And value of humbleness is always should be there in our life at every situation. Thank you very much. I cannot summarize all your talks, but I tried my best to summarize it. With this, may I invite now Professor Sanjay Kumar Satpathy, Vice Chancellor of Kalahandi University, to deliver his presidential address.
My regards to all of you, all the listeners. Listening is a very difficult activity. And in the 32nd Uttishtata episode, we are trying to ignite the fire, the spark within the thousands of students of ours, the thousands of possibilities of the country. So here, in each human body, the leader is the brain. Many times we fall in trap with the brain, not the brain. And we get confused. And the choice which is given to be or not to be, to win or to lose, we have to face the other side. But when I was thinking of the topic for the last 2 days, what I was remembering, particularly from my childhood days, I keenly see the birds which are flying. I have got the opportunity to study on the Siberian birds who come to Chelika. They are in a V shape. Initially, I was unable to know that it is a leadership style. It's an army style. Each bird could see the front. Each bird could scale the possible threats, and they get trained thereby, so that for the thousands of years, the birds were flying for thousands of kilometers and coming from Siberia to Chelika. And the bird in the front sometimes come to the place 2. The bird in place 2 goes to the front. In that way, all the birds, they participate in flying such a long distance. That is one style, the style of the flying swans. Then we also see the ants. They have got also their own leadership style. In each house, the mother is the leader who has got her own leadership style. But one of the greatest words, if we think of Mahabharata, I'll ask you a typical question. Might not be it has caught your eye. That is, what was the shape, fighting shape of the Kauravas on the first day to finish the war in that day itself? That was the eagle's shape. Bhishma had made that shape of eagle, and eagle is the bird which could locate the prey from a long distance. Eagle's eyes are very powerful. But ultimately, the winning goes to the Pandavas. There I have to tell you two things. One is, overconfidence is the biggest threat of the winner. Second is, the last shloka of Mahabharata, that is the 700th shloka, Yatra Jogeshwara Krishno Yatra Partho Dhanurtharaha Tatra Se Vijayar Bhuti Dhuvani Tirmatin Mama. The winning, the victory lies with the combination of the two. The Ujjoga of Arjuna and the Asirvad part. The two parts when joined together, that leads to victory. So in our life, we will say, always there is a war within us. This body is the Kurukshetra. There are 5 Pandavas within us with 5 qualities. We can depict them as Panchamana. But on the other hand, we have so many threats, the wishes, the kamanas, the lalasas which are there, which took us in a different track. And ultimately there is a possibility of diffusion, there is a possibility of losing the game of life. So, really I got enlightened. I have known something about the experiences which Atanu has. I could listen with you something more. Some more light I got. My affection to Ishita, who could find some time to be with us. And I also salute all my team, all my listeners who are there for today to listen such great words. If you can gather a few of the words delivered by Atanu, then the time which is spent in this land will definitely be a treasure for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for such a wonderful presidential address. You always teach us, guide us, and hold our hand in every situation of our need, and guiding us towards the righteous path in our professional and personal life. Thank you very much, sir. There are some questions. One question is quite relevant. It has been asked to Atanu, sir. So I'll read out the question for you, sir. It has been asked by Amit Sahu. He has expressed his gratitude to you for such a wonderful talk. My question to Atanu, sir, when we compare between military leadership and civilian leadership, one factor is military personnel are more disciplined, whereas it may not be the case with civilian leadership situation. What tips would you give to bring in more discipline while leading a civilian team, be it in any public sector or private sector profession?
I'll give you one simple example of punctuality. We all talk of man hours being important in life, productivity. Let's say there is a meeting to be attended by 25 people, 25 top people in your team, and you're half an hour late. 25 into 30 minutes have been lost. And time is money. So if you can bring this point home, drive this point home to your people, discipline is not just military or civilian. Discipline is a way of life. But yes, I agree that there is a difference because maybe the training is not so. I'll give an example. I had gone on a holiday with my wife to China. We are a team of 17, 18 members. We are the only two Indians there. If the departure was at 0830, every person was there at 0825. They are not military people. I was the only military officer. They were all civilians. So it is not civilian or military. It is a thinking. It is all here. If I tell myself that I have to be there, I will be there. So, firstly, and most importantly, you have to set yourself as an example, demonstrate, you practice what you preach, you be on time. If your people don't come on time, if they have self-esteem, unko sharam aayegi, lajja lagi watan ko, then they'll come on time. But if you yourself as a leader will not come on time, how do you expect your subordinates to come on time? There is no mantra. Kintu there are few things wherein you drive home the point. Ki eita kole ame besi unnati karibu. We will not lose time. Time is money. We come on time, we go on time. Punctuality is not just coming on time. Even leaving on time is punctuality. If I have been given 45 minutes to speak and I speak for 1 hour, I'm not punctual. I have a watch here to tell me whether I am exceeding my time limit or not. I've got 5 more pages left, but I have to stop when I have to stop. So you have to imbibe in your team. And there is no mantra ki if I do this, it will happen. They have to be convinced themselves. Anything that you do has to come from inside you, from within you. I hope I have been able to communicate what I know about being punctual or being disciplined.
Yes, sir. That is helpful. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. That was the only question, and somebody has asked to repeat you something. I'll request that person to listen to the talk which has been recorded. It will be uploaded. It will be shared once again, because such a variable talk cannot be repeated once again, but it has been recorded with the power of technology. So it can be listened, and we can listen to over and over again whenever we feel any kind of disappointment, any kind of difficulties in our life, and this talk will energize everybody who will listen to it. Thank you very much. Now, may I request Captain Dr. Jaydev Sahu sir to tender the vote of thanks on the occasion.
Thank you, dear Sanjeev. Jai Hind, sir.
Jai Hind.
See, it is my good luck to listen to a great leader, Group Captain Atanu Guru, Veer Chakra and Yuddha Seva Medal. Really, Kalahandi University has been vibrant today and will remain grateful to you, sir, for your talk on leadership. Actually, I have observed, as I am associated with Army, as an NCC officer, that in my opinion, almost all the army personnel or defense personnel, they are the leaders in true sense. So I salute you, sir, and I take permission from Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, to tender the vote of thanks to all the dignitaries who were present here. At first, I would like to tender vote of thanks to the Vice Chancellor of this university. Truly, a group captain, sir, has said that he is truly a leader. I have also observed that one can learn leadership from him. Since his joining, I see him as a man of defense services and not as a civilian. Because he was associated with NCC in his life, I see the way he acts. Always he comes forward and he is very much punctual, sincere, and he boosts his people to go ahead, to march ahead. I thank you, sir, for being our Vice Chancellor, as you are our leader, and you have been taking this infant institution in a right direction. So everyone should be inspired from his leadership. Our registrar, Pitambar Bhuishar, OAS Senior, our Comptroller of Finance, Sri Suresh P. Desika, OFS Senior. We are indebted to all of you. And my sincere thanks goes to the speaker of this lecture, who has beautifully presented about the leadership. He himself is a leader, and I am proud to listen to him, the first Odia to have received, to have been awarded with Veer Chakra. And again, he has been awarded Yuddha Seva Medal. Very few people, they are awarded with such awards, which are dreams of every defense personnel. Sir, you have given us a direction, especially you have set the example of punctuality, and you have said about punctuality, actually, sir, that one can be termed a leader who respects time, who has sense of time, who is punctual. And indeed, we have to respect time for our prosperity, for our betterment. We are far back only because we don't pay respect to time and we are not punctual. Thank you, sir, for being with us. This lecture will definitely boost so many students, teachers, and our cadets. Even our NCC cadets are there. I told them to listen to you, and I'm sure everyone has been benefited by your talk. I request you sincerely on behalf of Kalahandi University to be associated with us in future and guide us through your lecture. Thank you, sir. Once again, we are indebted to you. We are grateful to you for your talk, for your inspiration to us. Definitely, Kalahandi University is indebted to Madam Ishita Guru, which introduced her father with fright. I was listening to the profile of Group Captain Atanushar. She really very chivalrous, and we must be encouraged by him. So thank you, madam, for the beautiful introduction. I thank my team, Sanjeev, Radha madam, Khushbu madam, Sarita madam, and all my colleagues who have joined in this lecture. I also thank all the students and cadets and other invitees, other guests for listening to our group captain, sir. I thank you all. My pranam ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ ମୁଁ ନମସ୍କାର କରୁଛି ଏବଂ ମୁଁ ରହିବି ନିଶ୍ଚିତ ଭାବରେ ମୁଁ ବି ଅନଡିଭାଇଡେଡ ସମ୍ବଲପୁର ଜିଲ୍ଲାର ଲୋକ ଭାବରେ ବରଗଡ଼ର ଲୋକ ଭାବରେ ମୁଁ ସାରଙ୍କର ସମ୍ବଲପୁରୀ ଟିକେ ଟିକେ ଶୁଣୁଥିଲି ବଢିଆ ଲାଗଲା ବହୁତ ଖୁସି ଲାଗଲା ସାର ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ ମୁଁ ନମସ୍କାର କରିକିରି ରହୁଛେ ଅଶେଷ ଅଶେଷ ଧନ୍ୟବାଦ ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ ନମସ୍କାର ପ୍ରଣାମ ଆସନ୍ତା शुक्रवार पुणी थे आम समवेत हमा एवं आहुरी अन्य स्पीकर मान को सुनमा समस्त को धन्यवाद प्रणाम.
Thank you very much, sir, for your unflinching effort to make this program a success, being the convener of this talk series, Captain Dr. Jaydev Sahu, sir. So we'll come to the last part. May I request Lipsa Moharana for the Santi part.
सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामया सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः.
Thank you.
लिप्सा
Ms.
महाराणा
Moharana.
धन्यवाद.
Thank you.
लिप्सा
Thank
महाराणा
you.
अशेष अशेष धन्यवाद तुमको.
Sir, may I have the permission to call it a day for the 32nd
Yes, Sanjeev.
edition of this. Thank you very much all for joining this session. Look forward to having you in the next session. The session ends here.